Yeah.
what would you say your top football buys are right now?
How do you send cards to PSA? What do you recommend? How do you send it?
This is going to get me shit on, but I'm going to say it anyways. What is up, everybody? We are here live for episode number 45 of the Eric Michael Show, where I talk about business, life, sports cards, sports. And the main reason I do it is to answer all of your guys' questions. So if you look in the bottom left over there, you can call in at that phone number, or you can just ask questions in any of the chats. Right now, we're live on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and a bunch of others. In the world of sports cards, to kind of go over things, what's happening real quick. So this is, in my opinion, the best time of the year to start actually buying and selling sports cards. So the way sports cards works is like this. In the holidays, like October, November, December, it gets a little bit lower in terms of buying. Like, not as many people are buying because you have the holidays and people are spending their money elsewhere, but people are opening up cases and packs, and it's a great time to buy. And that kind of bleeds into January, February, March, because football. So if you've ever followed anything I said, Joel Kaplan, what's up? Good morning, Joel. If you followed anything I said, right, you want to buy low, sell high. You want to buy in the offseason, sell into the season. And as we already know, most players don't perform up to expectations. And what you want to be doing is this. So let me share my screen here. Let's do a little share job here. Little boop. There we go. So this is basically what happens every single year and what you want to be doing. So this is like the best way to make money with sports cards. So if we go back to CJ Stroud, who, by the way, I think is an amazing buy right now. So this is, let's do all data. So this is, it's a little confusing. Okay, let's go back here. So this is what happens, right? We're like almost here in March, all right? And you could see this card kind of settles down right here, right? In like May, April, because what happens here, right, is a lot of the PSA 10s start to come into the market. So at the first few PSA 10s are hot, they sell for a lot of money. Then it goes down, 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 down as more PSA 10s come to the market, and then it stabilizes. So these cards, these football cards, will usually stabilize right around like April, May. And then as training camp happens, players get traded for, etc., it starts to pump up. So if you do things correctly, so let me just fix my earpiece here. So if you do things correctly for new players, when I say new players, I'm talking about like Bo Nix, Jayden Daniels, that whole class. If you want to get in at the low point, especially at Prism, usually around like April, right? Because you could get in early, but then the PSA 10s actually start to drop by like 20%, then it stabilizes, and it pops back up as we get closer. So that's how to maximize on like the new guys, because new guys are like exciting. There's a lot of hype, etc. However, if you go back a year ago, right, to what I'm looking at right now, CJ Stroud, I personally think that CJ Stroud is an amazing purchase right now. Why? Well, just look how much he's fallen. And CJ Stroud, what's like crazy about like sports cards is the sports card market's actually been going up, but people are so hyped, so inflated before a season starts, that if you don't play like Patrick Mahomes, look how much you shoot down. Isn't this crazy? Just like this card was $1,000 before the season started, and now it's worth $360. It's insane. And just to show you an example here, it's like Jayden Daniels Silver Prism PSA 10. So like this is the Jayden Daniels Silver Prism PSA 10. And the first sale you can see was $1,800 about, and you can see it's going down. The last one was $1,300. And I wish if anyone knows how to do this, please let me know, because I wish there was a way to short sports cards. So I've always had the idea. This is a crazy idea, and that's something someone brought to my attention one time, and it's just really hard to do. What if you short sports cards? It's so easy to predict guys going down in value, way more than going up in value, because most guys just don't perform how we think, and they lose value. So what if you said to someone, right? This is a penny for everyone's thoughts here. What if you said to someone, hey, I'm going to buy this card of Jayden Daniels from you right now for $1,300, and I will give it back to you I'll give it back to you in 6 months plus an extra 5% guaranteed. So I'm going to give you like $100 on top of you letting me borrow this card. You take the card, you sell it, right? So someone's giving you a loan for the card for $1,300 essentially. You sell it, and then you buy it back for cheaper, right? You buy it back for $700 and you pocket the difference, or $600 if the card goes down in value. It's a way to short sports cards. I don't know who's going to let you borrow their cards. I don't know, but that's the only way I can think of shorting sports cards. But it's an amazing idea because I think it's really could be really, really lucrative personally. Um, let's see. You should look into the Pokemon market. Yeah, actually, we buy and sell a lot of Pokemon cards in my program. I don't talk about it as much because I'm definitely not an expert at it. I've done it here and there. But from my knowledge, the way I buy and sell Pokemon cards, so like once again, I don't know. Like I'm not an expert with Pokemon cards by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, so keep that in mind with what I'm about to show you. But what I use this website a lot called tcgplayer.com. And what you'll look here, so if you just go to any of these sets, like, I don't know, Twilight Masquerade, for example, and you go to high to low, it'll show you some of the more expensive cards. So check this out, right? I know this card, let's say Greninja 214 out of 167. So if I hop over to eBay, what I'll do, since I'm in the game of making money, Greninja. So this is the card right here. I'll look and see, okay, is this card buyable? Can we make money if we buy this card and grade it a PSA 10? And according to this math here, let's see. This card is like low 300s raw, and as a 10, it's worth about almost $800 as an auction. Yeah, about $800 to 10. So buy it for like 320, 330, get it graded, sell for 800. So this is like, once again, I barely know anything about Pokemon sets. I haven't watched Pokemon in a long time. But what I do know is I can make money with this card. And I get all of my information from this website, tcgplayer.com. And you could do this with like Disney cards, Pokemon cards. I literally just sort by highest priced and just look for what is the most expensive card. Like in some of these lower end Pokemon cards, like let's take this one for example, Perrin. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, so don't don't make fun of me. But like this card is, let's see, some of these lower end cards you could just crush on if they get a 10. So like yeah, you could see here, like check this out. So this card's like $60, $70 in that range. And as a PSA 10, it's like 200. It's pretty good money, right? Buy it for 60, 10's worth $200. So that's how me personally, I made money with Pokemon cards. I'm not an expert. I can't tell you that much about sets or history or anything, but personally, that's what I do. And then let's see what other questions we got. I'm a believer in buying backup quarterbacks. They usually come at cheap prices, and you just never know injuries happen, especially around the draft time. So yeah, backup quarterbacks. Once again, this is not financial advice. So don't go off and start buying backup quarterbacks. But backup quarterbacks are actually an amazing purchase. Let me show you something cool. So let me pull this up. Let me show you guys a quick example. Uh, let's see here. Okay, check this out. This is gonna blow your guys' mind. So think about some backup quarterbacks, right? Like, let me use a name, and this is someone who I bought a few cards of. And no, that's not me pumping the market. I don't care. I only bought one card. Jordan Travis, right? Jordan Travis is a backup quarterback for the New York Jets. If you don't know who he is, he played for Florida State. He was really good. They were like 10-0. Then he ended up breaking or fracturing his ankle, and he ended up getting injured. And he ended up being like a 5th-round pick. He probably would have been like a 2nd-round pick if he never fractured his ankle. So he didn't play for the Jets last year. Now the Jets lose Aaron Rodgers, and they're going to get a new quarterback. They say maybe it could be Matt Stafford. I don't know. But if you think about it, think about this logically for a second, right? So if you hop over to eBay We hop over to eBay and we type in Jordan Travis Prism, right? This is a pretty nice card. I'm gonna save that. It's a nice card right there. But check this out. So this card, like his silver prism, is like $12, $15. So it sells for the price of what a backup should sell for. He's a backup, right? So think about his floor. Well, his cards are already cheap and they sell for what a backup should sell for. So his floor, theoretically, unless he gets injured or maybe he gets released, which is always possible, is pretty low. Anything could happen, but it's pretty low, right? Now, what's the upside? So the upside is tons, right? Something is only an opportunity when no one else sees it as an opportunity. So, like, let me give you an example from the stock trading world before I go dive deeper into this. So, what if something good happens to Disney? Nobody cares, right? Blue chip company, blue chip stock, maybe it goes up 1%. If something good happens to Dogecoin, right, it skyrockets by 100%. If people find out Tom Brady is, I'm going back to pandemic here. If like Tom Brady is investing in Dogecoin, people lose their mind and it blows up, right? Because it's much more volatile. Okay. If Tom Brady puts his money in Disney, nobody gives a shit, right? Because it's a lot more stable. People overreact to things that are a lot more volatile. And that's why, if you've ever listened to my content, you've probably heard me say that something is only an opportunity when no one else sees it as an opportunity. And that's what everyone's getting at, right? If Tom Brady puts his money in Dogecoin, people are thinking, oh man, this could be the next Bitcoin. I'm going to buy it. And then it skyrockets by double, triple, quadruple, and you make a lot of money. So the penny stocks, or where there's volatility, that's where there's like real lots of money to be made, right? You're not going to make money buying Google, okay? Or the stock of Google. Probably not, right? You're not going to make a ton of money, I should say. That's stable, that's safe. If you're looking for a huge bang for your buck, it's in the areas where no one else is looking. So, going back to my point, and once again, please do not take this as financial advice. This is not me telling you to buy Jordan Travis. I'm just using an example, right? I look at this and I think the downside on his cards are pretty low ish. Like anything can happen, but the upside's huge, right? Jordan Travis is like Dogecoin right now. If word gets around that he's competing to be a starter for the Jets and he's playing well in training camp, what do you think is going to happen to this card? Double, triple, quadruple, right? Let me get back to this thought. We have a caller coming in. So I will get back to this, but let it rip, Kavi. You got Eric here. Hello.
Hello? Is
Hey,
this Eric?
this is Eric.
Eric, I was show live, brother. I had a question for you, man. I'm new to sports, and I recently acquired like 4 big boxes of sports cards, like containing smaller boxes of mostly, I don't know, man, like basketball, baseball, football, few hockey. All of them are completely full. So I was wondering what would be the best way to, I guess, like sell these locally or list them on the marketplace, or would it be better to, like take them to like a sports car buy sell trade store?
What years are
I have a
these?
few local to me.
What years are these cards?
I think I mean some of them are recent. They're like all um 80s or 70s. It's a pretty good mix of cards.
Gotcha. Yeah. So the best thing to do. So this is probably the most common question I get. Anything below 1969 could be worth a lot of money. Graded cards from the 70s, 80s, and 90s are mostly junk because they were massively overproduced. But what you want to look for specifically, so the cards are worth nothing, probably, to be honest with you. It's probably worth wiping your butt with a lot of them. It's about the most value you'll get from them. But any 90s basketball, that's where you'll find. So people ask me what you just asked all the time. And the only time I ever see people actually find anything valuable is 90s basketball. So like Kobe, Allen Iverson, Tracy McGrady, Dirk Nowitzki, those cards could potentially have value. So that's where you want to be looking at. But most of the cards you have are probably worth not much.
What about, I have a lot of baseball packs too in here. I actually don't have that many basketball, but I see a few baseball packed here. Is that the same? Does that same theory apply when we're talking about baseball?
Nah, the baseball stars from the 80s and 70s and 90s are, unless the card is worthy of getting graded and it's a PSA 10, which the odds are extremely low, and I doubt it. It's not going to be worth much. There's very few baseball cards worth a lot from those times. Like there's like the rookie Desert Shield Chipper Jones from like 91, I think it is 1991, but very few are worth anything. But if you're curious, what you could do, I don't know if you're watching me live right now.
Uh-huh.
Let me show you. So if you look, the best way to, because like you could have stuff like the best way if you have like a Mark McGuire. How do I spell McGuire? Let's not do that. Let's do Chipper Jones, 1991 tops. Let's say you have, I don't know, Tiffany, right? That's the name of the card you have. Instead of just calling me or asking me, just go to sold items on eBay and it'll tell you exactly what it's worth. So this is the problem. Like if this card's graded a 9, it's not really worth sending in for grading because the cost to get a card graded is like $20 already. So you're not making any money. But
Mhm.
if this card grades a 10, right? This card grades a 10, you know, you can see what it's worth. It's worth $3,000. So it's worth, if you think the card can grade a 10, and these like baseball cards that are lower end, it's worthy of sending it in for grading. But you could see how hard it is to get this card to grade a 10 because you could see the difference, right? This card's like $10, $2 not graded, and as a 10, it's worth 3,000 because probably 1% of them that get graded are graded a 10. So that's what you want to be looking for. You probably don't have anything, to be honest with you, worthy of getting a 10. The money is made in the 90s basketball. That is where you will actually find something valuable, most likely.
Mm. Okay, brother, that makes sense. I appreciate you.
All right, man. You have a good one. Thanks for calling in.
You too. No problem.
That's good. Was there another caller coming in at the same time, Kavi? Yeah, sure. Shoot him a call. Let's call him. I think there is. We're calling someone live. This guy was just calling into the show, but he we can't take two calls at the same time, obviously. Let's see if he's gonna answer. Hello?
Hello?
Hey, this is Eric on the Eric Michael Show. We're calling you back. We saw you call, but we had another caller on the line.
Yeah, this is Thomas Markman. I got two cards I need to find them. Oh, they're 1-on-1.
Okay, you said your name was Tom?
Yeah,
Okay, and you have two 1-of-1 cards. Okay, right?
yeah,
Okay.
pre-production cards.
Okay. What are they?
Ronnie Mauricio,
Yep.
and I just don't know how to find the value of them.
Okay, well, give me the Ronnie. What kind of card is it? What is it? A Ronnie Mauricio what? I'll do my best to try to value it.
Ronnie Mauricio Leaf, prize rook 2019.
Okay, so he was a rookie in 2019. So it's a Leaf.
Uh-huh.
Is it signed?
No, not signed.
Okay. So if I had a guess, is there a patch in the card?
Is there what? I'm sorry.
A patch, like a jersey patch in it?
No patches.
Okay, so that card is worth, this is me kind of roughly guessing here. Oh wait, I spelled it wrong. Hold on. I don't know if you're watching the show live right now, but I'm
And it's registered Gem 10 too.
okay. If I had a guess, oh, it's a 10. 101
Uh-huh.
Mauricio. Let's see. 101.
It says prized rookie at the bottom.
If I had a guess, like $50 to $75.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because that product, like Leaf, is not a very desirable product with baseball because, like, because they don't have the license. So if you look at the card, you'll notice that there's no like he's a Mets prospect. There's no like Mets logos or MLB logos anywhere because of that. People don't really want that product. Like Ronnie Mauricio collectors would rather buy Bowman Chrome, if you know what that is, which is a much more coveted, more liquid type of card. So that's why. But like 50 to
Okay.
$75, if I had to like roughly guess, it could be a little bit more, could be a little bit less.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Because I've been a lost stage on them what the price I'm at. So
Cool. Yeah. Any other cards or questions? You can just shoot me a message on Instagram.
well, dude, thank you very much.
All right, Tom. You have a good one. Good luck.
Bye bye.
All right. Bye. Random card. But anyways, back to what I was saying before. So Jordan Travis, low, right? The downside, low. Upside, high. And if you look here, so check this out. So this is Sam Howell. Okay, we all remember good old Sam Howell. Everyone thought he was going to be amazing on the Commanders. Oh, we got another call. I can't finish my thought. Okay, go. Run it. We got a Canada call coming in. You got Eric on the line? Hello?
How's it going?
Hey, what's up, man? This is Eric. What's your name?
All right, Jake.
Jake. What's up, Jake? How may I make your day better today?
I'm just asking you. I think, what is your opinion right now for let's go football?
Yeah.
What would you say your top football buys are right now?
Are you buying cards already graded? Or are you buying? Oh, let's start. You know, it's funny when people ask me this. What's your goal? This is the best way to give me your best. Give me your best.
Long
Give
t-
you my best
Like,
answer.
I guess single season investments. Like I think my top buy right now is probably Burrow and Stroud.
Well, when I say goal, like I'm talking finances. Like how much? Like is this like something you want to do as a side income? How much money do you have to spend on cards? And then I'll kind of give you my vantage point as to what I would buy if I was you.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be starting in the just in the hundreds, not touching the thousands. Stay in the hundreds and
Okay,
hope
so let's
the cards go up
pretend.
to thousands. Right?
Are we pretending you have like $500? It's a good number.
Yeah, I'll say 500. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then is your goal? Are you just like looking to like kind of bullshit around with sports cards? Or are you looking to like turn this into like a side income?
Yeah, kind of like a side income type thing. Just try to invest in them.
Okay, got it. So the word, okay, look, the word investing, bad word. Don't use that word. Flipping. That's what you want to be doing.
Yep.
Like flipping. Consistently
Yep.
flipping, right? When people say I want to invest in sports cards, it's impossible because most players don't perform up to expectations. So like long-term investing in newer players is terrible. It's a terrible way to try and make money because most players are going to go down in value. But are you watching me
Yeah.
live right now?
I was, yeah. Obviously now that I'm on the phone, I'm not, but I was, yes.
Okay. So, well, then you could. I'm going to explain it to you, and then also, if you want, you could pull up your computer and go on my Instagram or YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
And then,
There we go. I'm back on it now.
oh, you're back on. Okay, cool. So it's a little delayed, but like what I'm going to say is going to be a little delayed for you. But I'll tell you exactly what I would do.
No worries.
So your goal is to make money, right? And the way you're going to do that is by buying cards to get graded. Okay. Now,
Yep.
good news for you. It's like the best time of the year to make money with sports cards, to buy cards. So what you want to be doing, if I was in your shoes, you have $500. You want to make money as quickly and as fastly as possible. I would actually be sending cards to SGC, okay, not PSA. Before I go into which cards
Okay.
I would buy. Why? Because you could send a card to SGC, they'll have it back in a week. And if you send a card to PSA, it'll take 45 days to 60 days, something like that. So like even though a
Yep.
PSA 10 is worth more, like it's worth like 30% more than an SGC 10 usually. It's worth it because you have like $500 to spend, or that's the number we're using. It's worth it for you to make a little bit less, but have that money back quicker, so you could sell it and turn that money over faster. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the overall strategy. Then the guys I would be buying. So if I had to put guys in order, so one, you're buying the new guys, okay, all the new quarterbacks, number one. And me
I
personally,
think Caleb. I like Caleb.
so this is where like this is, to be honest with you, Jake, this is just purely an opinion at this point. Like me personally, I like to buy guys that no one's on. I like to buy the guys that I think have a lot of high upsides. Like Jayden Daniels, for example, everybody's on. I'm not really a fan of buying him. His cards sell for a lot of money.
I fully agree with you.
Yeah, and so like out of all those new quarterbacks, who's like a sleeper? Who are people really not buying? I like Penix a lot, and JJ McCarthy.
Yep. Yep.
Not.
I have.
Yep.
I started picking up Penix and Joe Milton.
Yeah. So the problem with Joe Milton is you want to be if you're buying cards to get graded, you want to make sure you're gonna at least double your money, right? So if you buy a card for, let's say, $30 and it costs you $15 to
Yeah.
get it graded, so you're into it for $45, you want to make sure an SGC 10 is gonna sell for at least $90. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So Joe Milton, his cards are really cheap. It's gonna be harder to do that. But if you look at like Penix, right? Like, let's take this for example. Penix. I don't know if you're looking at my screen. It's gonna be a little delayed for you.
Yeah.
But like Michael Penix, let's do like minimum price, like $80 here. So you can. I wonder if there's any silver. So like this would be an awesome card to get graded, a silver Michael Penix Prism. So like Michael Penix, his SGC 10 silver Prism there's one sale at $400, and you can buy this
Okay.
card for about 80-ish. So yeah, it sells for about 80. And it's a harder card to get
Yeah.
graded, but I'm just using one example. If you buy for 80 and you buy, let's say you have $500 to spend, and you buy, let's say, 6 of them, and 3 of them get an SGC 9.5. So that means you're gonna about break even on those. And the other 3 get an SGC 10. And this is I'm assuming you know how to look at a card, the corners, the edges, the center, and the surface. Each card you're gonna make about $300 profit. If it grades an SGC 10, you just made $900 in profit on 6 cards, and it'll only take you like 2 weeks to do so in total between buying the card and sending it to SGC because they're a lot faster. So that's the route I would go. And then when you build up your bankroll, when you have an extra like 5 to 10 grand, and you could keep buying cards and sending them to PSA and just keep doing it, and you're able to wait 45 days, then don't send cards to PSA. But because you have $500 to spend, I would be buying lower end Prism, making sure you're doubling your money, like cards that are worth 20, 30, 40, $50, and sending to SGC. And then, in my opinion, so to answer, I know this is going to directly answer your question now. In order, the guys who I like the most from the new quarterback class, I like, in terms of their value to go up, I like Drake May the most because I think the Patriots are going to pick up weapons when the quarterback gets new weapons in the offseason, their value goes up. Penix, because no one's on him, no one's talking about him. McCarthy, no one's
Yeah.
really talking about him as well. He's going to start. People are going to get excited because the Vikings have a lot of really good weapons. And then Bo Nix after that. People already know he's pretty good, and he's hyped. Caleb Williams after that, and then Jayden Daniels would be last on my list. This is not an order of how good these players are. This is an order of who I think is going to go up the most in value. So that's what I would do personally, in my opinion. Once again, no guarantees, not financial advice, but just that is what I would do. Does that make sense? I just threw a lot of stuff at you.
Yeah, I get it. I think my biggest thing right now, I think the main 2 guys that I have been loading up on is Burrow and Stroud. They're both low right now, and they're just guys that I have faith in. They're going to go right back up.
Yeah. The thing is, so like, okay, so like, are you buying cards of Joe Burrow already graded?
No, I've been buying some of them raw and then grading them.
What years are these Burrow cards you're buying?
All rookies.
So the problem, like, you're probably right. Like, Burrow will probably be worth more in a few months than he is today. But think about this,
Yeah.
right? Burrow's rookie year was 2020. Bo Nix, or like, May is 2024. If you just take 100 random cards, the newer cards are just going to be in better condition because they're newer. A lot of the Burrow cards have been graded. The cards have been around for like 4 or 5 years. And unfortunately, you and I aren't the only one who grade cards, right? So just mathematically speaking, you're going to have a more difficult time getting higher grades on Burrow cards just because they're 5 years old at this point, as opposed to, Jayden Daniel cards or Bo Nix cards or whatever. And, my whole thing with sports cards is I teach people how to make a side income. So I'm giving you advice that's going to make you, in my opinion, from my experience, the highest chance of making that side income. So that's the problem. Like, you have to be not emotional and just be like, what's going to be the best for my dollar? Where am I going to make the most amount of money? And it'll be with the newer cards, just because they're just going to grade at a higher clip.
Yeah. Do you think that the new the preview of the optics, the pink one of Michael Penix, is that a good pickup? Like raw?
Probably, but hold on, let me look. So I could tell you. Do you know those? I think are you talking about the red optic preview? I think you're talking about the red.
No, it's the pink one.
Pink? You sure? Oh, hold on. Let me look.
Yeah.
Let me look this up real quick. Let me share my screen and look this up. Oh, we got 42 people live. You're famous. It's Penix Pink Optic. I'm not exactly sure what card you're talking about. Pink. Oh, okay. I see it.
It's a rated rookie. Yeah.
Okay. So why did this? This is weird. I'm looking at this card and raw does like $80 according to this in December.
That's what I mean.
And then a PSA 10 at $211, then another PSA 10 at $90. Hold on, let me look at like a Drake May.
That's what I saw. I saw the same thing.
Yeah, because of that, I would not buy the Penix just because the sales are weird. But like I'm looking at Drake May, and I just know from my experience, like this card's money. So like the Drake May one, you could buy for like $80. The 110 at 350, it's probably not worth that much. It's probably worth like 250. Yeah, like 250. So like buy them for 80, sell them for 250. But I would actually like this card. Yes, it's a great pickup. But if I was in your shoes, I would actually opt to make a little bit less money, but to have the card back quicker and send it to SGC. Because like that card, if you just do the math, right? Think about this for a second. Let's say you buy a Drake May for $80 and you send it to SGC.
Yeah.
And if it gets a 10, it could be worth 180, or a PSA 10 is 250. But the PSA 10 takes 2 months to get back to you. The SGC 10 takes a week to get back to you. You can flip that Drake May card 3 or 4 times over before you ever get the card back from PSA. So long term, you're actually making more money by sending these cards to SGC, especially when your bankroll is a little bit lower at $500. Build it up, and then, but yeah. And then the card, so like we have thousands of students in Major League Profits, like our program at this point, and the card students have made the most amount of money on, from my knowledge, in the past few months, has been the red Pandora. The red,
yeah.
the
Those
red
are
one.
yeah, I like those a lot.
Yeah. Those sell like hotcakes. They're easy to grade. People love them. They're easy to find. Students have just crushed it out of the park with those cards. But yeah, but the pink one's just as good. Honestly, it's the same thing. So yeah, it's an amazing buy right now. I think it's actually a little bit better of a buy maybe than Prism, because Prism, it's still, a lot of people are excited. It's still going to come down a little bit in value before it pops back up, probably in July or August. But yeah, that optic stuff, dude, sending that to SGC, just ripping these cards. It's $15 to get each card graded. You buy them for $30-$40 all day. A bunch of these optics of these quarterbacks, double your money easily, and then just build up your bankroll. Then start sending cards to PSA once you have like $5,000 in disposable money to spend.
Yeah. That sounds good, man.
Yeah. And it was Jake, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Any other questions?
I think that's everything, man.
All right, sweet. Yeah, call back in a few weeks and let me know how it all goes.
Sounds good, bro.
Awesome. You have a good one.
You too.
All right, bye-bye. So that is another common question. It's actually like sending cards to SGC. You just got to make sure. I actually probably should have mentioned this to him, and hopefully you're still listening, Jake. If it gets an SGC 9.5, you got to prepare for the worst, which is probably an SGC 9.5. You want to make sure you're going to only lose like $15-$20. You just want to lose the grading fee. So it's like either I lose $15 of the grading fee, or I'm making like, $80, $90, $100. So that's where you want to be doing. But I think we have another caller. Let it rip. You got Eric here?
Hello?
Hey, what's up, man? You got Eric?
Hey, what's up, brother? I called last week on PC. I called about the schemes.
Remind me, Skeens. Give me a little bit of a reminder.
No, I was asking about the comps, selling at 90%.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Yep, I remember.
Yeah. Before my questions, I just want to update you. So I actually ended up, I have an eBay, not a store, but an eBay page, and I ended up posting it for $215 and selling it, and so I got 180. So I know it's only like $15 more than what the last person offered me, but just wanted to update you on that because I think you asked me.
Is that a good thing? Is that a win? Or is that a thing you're happy about? At that price?
Yeah, because I bought it raw for like, I think it was like $40-something, and then I got it graded, came back at 10.
So you're into it for what?
For like 60.
60, and then you sold it
60.
for 180. That's what you netted.
Well, I sold it for, yeah, that's what I netted.
And
So
remind me, and
pretty
you
high.
sold this card on eBay?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's the Aqua Railways out of 199.
Oh, yep. Now I
The
remember the whole
bummy.
conversation. Yeah. Nice, dude.
Yeah.
That's a nice. Good for you.
Thank,
Yeah.
thank you.
It turns out I know what I'm talking about just a little bit.
Yeah. So I mean, I've been watching your videos for a while now, and I did have a few questions.
Yeah.
I don't want to,
Let it rip.
feel free to stop me whenever, just in case.
Rip it.
Okay. So first question is, how do you send cards to PSA, or what would you recommend? Because they're, in my mind, there are 3-4 ways. One is just sending it through PSA, just no account. Second, buying the pro account. I think it's like what, 200 a year, something like that. Third, GameStop, which is what I'm doing currently, and I like that because I think 25 for a year, but you don't pay shipping, and there's no minimum, and it's about $20 a card. And then fourth is dropping it off in person at like a card show or whatever.
Uh,
What do you recommend? How do you send it?
So I send anything like below like a few grand. I send to like basically like a card shop. He's one of my coaches who works for me. And people send him cards and he sends it off to grading. I've actually really never sent cards into grading myself. Only like at shows, like if I buy like a really higher end card, I'll send it to myself so I can look at it then send it off for grading. But there is no like, just to like kind of challenge your question. I think you're asking a question that's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Like what matters is, are you buying the right cards at the right time? Are you like that Paul Skeens? Are you buying cards in good condition? If you send it to GameStop, if you send it to my aunt, my uncle, it doesn't matter. It's as long as the cards are in good condition and you're doing it right, you're gonna make money. It's just whatever is most comfortable for you. What's most comfortable for me, because my time is very limited, is not sending the cards to myself and sending it to my buddy, which is basically like a card shop.
Gotcha.
That's what he runs. So it's a question that just doesn't matter, to be honest with you.
Gotcha. No, I mean, I was just thinking because it's like $5 here, there, like per card. It doesn't seem like a lot, but if you're doing this hundreds of times, I was just thinking the overhead costs, like
You're
you
saying
gotta kind of bake that in.
when you send it to yourself, is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I mean, sending it by yourself, you're paying all that money for shipping,
Yeah.
like there and back, and like I did it once, and the shipping costs were crazy. But then I did do it through a card shop, for printing plates, which I know you're not. Printing plates were more personal. They charged me about 25 per card, and then I ended up going through GameStop, which was about $20 a card, and then no shipping fee. So, I mean, I'm going to continue going through GameStop, but I just wanted to see your take. But I think you answered that
Yeah.
question.
Just to put it in
Yeah.
perspective, like I've taught thousands of people at this point, and there's people that do it all themselves and pay for all the shipping. The benefit in that is it goes faster. You could actually see the cards, clean it yourself, and no one's going to care about your cards more than you. Or like
Yeah.
you could go to GameStop or bring it to a card shop, but then you're delayed a few days because you won't be able to, get there all the time. So, or you get to do it like
Right.
me. If you do it like me, and you don't send it to yourself and you send it to someone else, it's faster, it's less time, but you don't get to look at the cards. So it's all at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong.
Gotcha. Second question. Have you ever considered subscribing or buying Card Ladder Pro, for like comps, just faster comps? And I don't know necessarily if it's more accurate because I haven't gotten it yet, but I usually go the route you go, through the Sports Card Investor Market Movers app, and then the free one, and then eBay sold.
Yeah, I've actually barely ever used Card Ladder. I'm sure it's good, but I use Market Movers because I like the data and analytics. Sports Card Investor, Jeff, he has a good app, but they probably do similar things. Like, just at the end of the day, it's just telling you comps, what it sells for. It's not something that's going to make you more money or less money. It's just a preference. Which interface do you like more? Which software do you like more? But I use I think I have like the yearly plan for the market movers, I think is what it is. Or maybe it's $50 a month. I'm not sure. Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, just because I mean I know most of the dealers at like card shows they use Card Ladder Pro, and I find sometimes that our comps don't really align, and
Yeah.
they said something like it only shows the comps if it's paid for or
Yeah.
something. I think a few of them told me that. So I mean, I find myself if I use eBay sold listings. Um, I know you use the plugin. I forget what it's called off the top of my head, but that shows like the actual price that
Yep.
it's sold for. But I find myself if I'm on my phone, then I have to open up 130 point, and it's just a lot of work. So I was just wondering, why you didn't use it, or if you did use it. Card Ladder Pro. Just your thoughts on that.
Gotcha. I've never messed around with it, but Market Movers I know does the same thing. They only show you stuff that's sold and or paid for, excuse me. And then the plan I have is Market Movers Unlimited monthly. So,
Gotcha.
which I think is 500 a year from what I
Okay.
see. But that's the plan I use. But once it's kind of like the grading question, it's just comps and numbers at the end of the day. Both softwares do similar things.
Yeah.
It's not going to make you more or less money.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Have you also considered selling on Discord? Somebody recently told me about some Discord called like Ryan's Card World or something, where it's like $20 a month.
Yeah.
They actually told me it's great. I wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. I have a bunch of students that do it. It's great.
Worth it?
Yeah, it's very active and very easy to buy and sell in there. Yeah, I would recommend it.
Okay, cool. Okay, I guess thank you. Now more towards cards, not actual stuff. So I kind of asked this last time, but if you could just clarify, what do you do when recent comps don't really reflect like a increase in the market value? For instance, there's a Jalen Hurts Genesis card that I bought and I got graded, and it the last comps on it were from July of 2024.
Yep.
So that's obviously that's during the off season, before last summer, before we won the Super Bowl, MVP, all that. So how do you kind of deal with that, because you have people that are checking comps and they're like, oh, this card last sold for $40.
What year is it?
So 2023. So this card, I'm not having a problem with this card. I actually just sold it, but this problem does happen a lot, and this was one example where I see the comp right now on my phone, and it matches the problem that I have sometimes.
Yeah. You got two options. Number one, if you believe it's worth more than the last comp, let the market speak for itself and just auction it. Probably not something I would do
Mm-hmm.
because people just use the last comp to get a basis for it. And number two,
Yeah.
if you're doing sports cards right and you're buying and selling, like how old are you?
I'm 33.
Oh, what's your goal with sports cards? Is it to, like, make a side income?
Yeah.
Okay. So and I'm assuming your goal is, like, let's say make a few grand a month, like you should be buying cards, like more of these common cards at like $50, $100, $150, and these cards have common sales. You shouldn't be buying anything like super rare that hasn't had a sale in like 8 months. So I would actually say if that's the case, you're buying the wrong stuff.
So like cases and stuff, you wouldn't recommend? You would
Well,
recommend more like
a lot of
rookie
cases.
prisms and.
Yeah, I would recommend. I'd recommend. Just think about this. Like, I recommend staying around the $100 mark, especially when you're like starting out or you're looking to make a side income. Like, that's kind of the sweet spot around there. And then
Mhm.
any card that's worth about $100, because it's not super expensive. It's a more common card, because the more card is more common, it sells more frequently. AKA, there's more sales. Anything that hasn't had a sale in 10 months, it's something more rare, something crazy. And that's just not the way to make a consistent side income. Maybe it's nice to take a swing at something once in a while, but it shouldn't be something that you're buying regularly.
Okay. Yeah, because I've been focusing a lot on case hits. I've been, like the blank slates, Genesis,
Yeah.
Tiger, Zebra,
Yeah,
just,
that stuff
I mean,
shouldn't
I
have
personally,
should
I love
have
those places.
sales. That stuff shouldn't have no sales in like a year, like 9, 10 months.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, certain cards they do. And then, because they're pretty short printed, there are comps of other variations of that. So like a different year or, different level, whether it's like premier, courtside, whatever. And then, so sometimes it's a little hard to comp those because the last sale could have been, in 2023, 2022, and then, it sold for a lot more than it did recently, or, I don't know. I do have trouble with some of them. Some of them are easy. They're, a few sales within the
Yeah,
past
that
year
stuff,
that can help me.
unless you've been doing this for a long time, will just stay away from. But what I would say, it's also give and take. Like, think about this. Like, the shitty thing is when you go to sell it, people use that last comp. But just use that last comp when
Yeah.
you buy it as well. So, like, let's say you have some random card of Jalen Hurts that's worth $500. The last sale is $500 all the way in July, and Jalen Hurts is worth more today than he was in July, and you know that, right? But maybe the seller doesn't. Maybe the seller's just using the last comp. Use that last comp to your advantage when you buy it. And then
Gotcha.
when you sell it, say, hey, obviously his value is worth more. This is what everybody does. To be honest, this is what every single person does. Every single person
Yeah.
uses comps to their advantage. They find the highest comp, and when they go to sell something, like, this
Yep.
is the comp. You know this already. And when they go to buy it, they find the lowest
Yeah.
comp. Like, there's actually like, and I'm guilty of this too. There's literally a video in my program that tells people, this is gonna give me on, but I'm gonna say it anyways. There's literally a video in my program that tells people, the title of it is using comps to your advantage. And if the last comp is not favorable to you, like the last one, average out the past 5. But if it is favorable to you, just use the last one, right? We all want to make as much money as possible, just like you, just like me. We all do. So I know
Yeah.
someone's
Yeah.
gonna take this clip and go post it somewhere. But
No,
that's
I mean, everyone does that though,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
everyone does it. Yeah, everyone does it, right? You know how it is. You've been to card
Yeah.
shows,
Yeah.
I'm sure, right? Everyone's greedy, which is why,
Yeah.
like, going back to like our conversation last week, that's why selling things at 90% is really, really good. Like, maybe you make a little bit less money, but you're able to build relationships and people actually like you and you stand out from the rest. 'Cause, how many card shows do you go to and there's these men that, like, are just total assholes and act like they don't want to be there and just say nasty things to you. And if you're someone that's pleasurable and people want to do deals with you, and you're actually someone that's nice to talk to and you give decent deals, you're going to stand out the rest from everyone else. People want to do business with people they like. So that goes back to that conversation last week.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries.
2 more questions.
Go for it.
Um, so what do you do with cards that you buy, online, not in person, that end up having a flaw that you didn't see in the listing? Like the corners might be good, edges might be, ascending might be good, but there's like print lines that you didn't see,
Yeah.
or dimples and like it's not going to get a 10, it might get a 9.
Yep.
What do you do? You just sell the card as raw and just take the L, or you
Uh,
know what?
Obviously, it depends on the exact problem with the card. If you gave me an exact card, I could tell you if I would send it in or not. But yeah, like when you buy cards, I guess something I don't really talk about because I like to paint the picture that it's easy to make a side income with sports cards because it's really not that difficult. But something I don't talk about, which I probably should, is like if you buy 10 cards, you're only
Mhm.
you're sending in like 8, maybe 9 to PSA. There's always going to be like 1 or 2 cards out of every 10 that you actually don't send in because
Mhm.
you thought it was good, but maybe the seller photoshopped something or something you didn't see or whatever, right? So those
Mhm.
cards, what's your budget for buying cards?
Um, so I don't have a set budget. I try to keep it under like 1,000 a month, but I've been spending a little bit more than that, about 3,000 a month
Yeah,
during
so
November to yeah.
gotcha. Okay, so you have some money. So you're not broke. So
Yeah,
um
yeah.
So in that case, like, you could sell it right away and probably lose like 10% on your money, or hold it just like you would hold anything else as we get closer to the season. You could probably make a little bit of money. Like if your budget was like $1,000, I'll tell you just sell it right away. Like lose a little bit of money, take the money, reinvest. But if you could hold it for a few months and it won't affect your purchasing power, then you could hold it and make 10%. It's more of a preference thing, but those are the two options you have. Like me personally, I usually sell it right away. I take a little bit of a loss. I break even, maybe make a little bit and just move on and turn the money over. But you just have to look at it like a numbers game, right? It's about it's like kind of like playing poker. The goal is to make more correct decisions than incorrect decisions. And, out of every 10 cards, you're always going to get one or two that just are no good for grading. That's just how the game works. But my general advice is just sell it right away and just break even, lose a little bit. But with that said, if I think it has a chance of getting a 10, I'm sending it in. If it's a small dimple, I'm sending it in. If I think it has a chance, if I have to ask myself, should I send this in? I'm sending it in. The only time I don't send a card in is if I'm like, yeah, there's no shot.
Gotcha. Thank you. Last question is more of an open-ended question, but what's your biggest struggle in this process or in sports cards flipping generally? Like, what do you think is your biggest struggle?
Like, are you asking me what is generally the biggest? Like, my struggle is different than normal people's struggles. So are you asking me like out of the thousands of people I've taught, what is generally what I see as the biggest struggle?
Yeah, I guess that would be a more accurate question, more relevant question.
Yeah. So let me tell you a quick story, and this will drive the point home. So right, you're familiar with like our business model, like Major League Profits and what we do, right? We teach people to make money with sports cards, blah blah blah, right? So we have a sales team, and if you you might opt in and watch one of the videos, and one of our salespeople will call you. And back about 4 years ago, our business is now about 30 times the size, but we weren't a big business back then. We got on a call with like another coaching program. I invest a lot of money in learning from other people, and we got on a call with a sales rep, and I thought our problem, like my problem, what I needed for Major League Profits was more sales reps. That's what I thought was the problem. And that's the picture this person painted me. He's like, hey, we'll get you in the program. We'll teach you how to hire sales reps. I was like, perfect. That's what I need. That's not actually what I needed. What I actually needed was better systems, was better processes, was putting out more content, was better training. I had better onboarding employees, so many problems, right? But the sales rep knew that, okay? But he didn't tell me that on the call. He just told me what I wanted to hear, sold me the program. Once I actually purchased it, got in, then they told me, hey, this is not your problem. This is your problem, okay? So he told me he kind of, I guess you could say, lied to me, a little white lie for the overall good of me. Because I purchased the program, it was like $15,000. And then once I was actually in, now I'm committed, I gave them money. The coach is like, hey, that's not your problem. This is your problem. You got to fix these things before getting to that. Does that make sense? You said that does make sense?
Yeah.
So with sports cards, go on.
Mm-hmm. No, I was gonna ask, what about for less on the program side, but more on the
that's what I'm getting to. So I'm giving you an analogy. So people think their problem in sports cards is I don't know what to buy. What's the hot player? I don't know, but that's not actually people's problem. People's problem is one, they don't know how to time the market, which is crucial, right? Just like you did with that Paul Skeens card, right? You did it correctly. You bought it in like probably December or something, and you sold it as we're getting closer to the season, right? And evaluating condition, corners, edges, centering surface, properly knowing how to do that. Then also knowing the right types of products to buy, like Prism and Optic, and when to buy this stuff. Those are people's actual problems. People think their problem is I don't know what's the next hot card to buy. That's not people's problem. The actual problem people have, at least I'm talking about when they make a side income with sports cards, is they don't know the actual fundamentals of the business and what drives it and how to properly make money by like evaluating condition and timing the market. So people think their problem is they just don't know what to buy, but that's not the problem. Their actual problem is what I said.
Gotcha. No, thank you. That was very helpful.
Yeah, and remind me your name one more time, because I'm sure you'll call in again next week or the week after. Just so I remember.
PC.
PC, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that won't be a hard one to remember. So Any questions? Dude, just feel free to call back. Whenever we do this Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Okay, I appreciate it, brother.
All right, PC, you have a good one.
How you too? See you.
See it. He asked good questions. Yes, that was good. Yeah, what he was saying is, that's one of the most, he will do well. You can just tell if someone will do well by the questions they ask. And you can just tell he's asking the right questions. And it's crazy. He just followed my videos. He never gave us a dime. I don't know. He never gave us a penny, but he follows the YouTube videos, attends these trainings, and he's making a side income with sports cards, or at least that's what he tells me. So I promise I'm not a scam. I've been doing this for 10 years. I know what I'm doing just a little bit, I promise. But maybe I could get my point across here before someone else calls in. So the point I was trying to make here, not this point, this point. So going back to those backup quarterbacks, check this out. So this is the point I was trying to drive home. So check out Sam Howell, right? This is a Prism Silver PSA 10. Another call. I'm just leaving you guys on the craziest cliffhanger. Kavi, let it rip. You got Eric here?
Hey, Eric, Patrick Bartels. I got a quick question for you.
What's up, Patrick?
We talked about you want to sell your baseball going into the baseball season, but baseball season is long and there's not a lot of sports going on. What do you sell in the early months of baseball or the first several months of baseball?
So okay. That's actually a good question. So I don't know if you said this, but just so you know, you sell your cards not like leading up to the baseball season. You want them sold before the baseball season starts. You understand that, right? Patrick?
I'm sorry. Say again.
I was saying.
I'm seeing I'm watching you delay on the screen.
It's a little delayed. Away. Yeah, if you're watching it on the screen, it's a little delayed from the phone. But
I'll stay on the phone here.
Yeah, you want to sell your cards leading up to the baseball season. So before April 1st, you want all your baseball cards sold.
Right.
That makes sense, right?
Right.
And then, so the cards you're going to be. Well, let me ask you this. This is always the question I start with because my answer depends. What is your goal? Is your goal to make a side income, quit your job, full-time income? What's your goal with sports cards?
I'm trying to go part-time in my job. If I could do $3 or $4 grand a month, I'm off to a good start. I'm in the academy, and
Okay.
like the last guy, I've learned a lot from you guys. So it's doing well, but I'm unsure what to do. I'm a huge baseball fan. That lends it well to me getting a good start, but I'm not so skilled at football or basketball cards. So
Okay. And
I'm not sure what to do during baseball season.
Yep. And when did you buy so you're in the program, you're in the first program. When did you buy Academy?
Probably 6 months ago or something like that.
Okay. And baseball's been going well for you. But
yeah, been doing really good.
Nice. And how much money have you made with baseball, out of curiosity?
Well, my first batch, I had some graded cards already. I sent them into PC Sports Cards consigned and sold those for $9 grand.
Wait, those were cards you bought in the program?
Those are cards that I had.
You had, okay.
And by then I started buying. I'd been buying off of eBay, looking for the young hotshot autos. I sent in a couple of batches of cards that I had, but they were not autographs of Holiday, Churio, that batch. But those did okay. But then I realized the autos is the way I should be going. And I've got a lot of them stacking up that have not sold yet. I've got one on consignment that should start any day.
Yep.
And then I've got 3 more sets of cards that I have anywhere from 6 to 12 cards in a batch, and I've got them insured from anywhere from $3 to $4,500.
Got it. Okay, so let me answer your question. So, just if you want to make a consistent 3 to 4K a month, you can't just buy baseball. You have no choice but to at least buy the big 3 sports: basketball, football, at least football and baseball.
I'm willing to do that, but I'm not sure how to do it yet.
Yeah. So, what you want? So, in football, there's so you know how in baseball, right? February, March, as we get closer to the season, there's a bump usually with a lot of players, not every player, but with a lot of players. So football actually has 2 of them. So there's a bump around NFL draft free agency, which is April-ish, something like
Yeah,
that.
that
And
makes
then
that makes sense.
again during training camp, July, August. So, for example, right, you're in the program, so you've probably seen videos of me talking about this already, but I'll repeat it. So, like, if you're buying football cards, right, keep doing what you're doing. You want to be buying Optic, Prism, lower end stuff, $50, $100, $150, getting that stuff graded. But then ask yourself, okay, if I'm going to be buying a football player, in football, the biggest indicator of a player's value going up in the offseason is off-season transactions. So, like, for example, so do you follow football at all?
Oh yeah, I love football.
Oh, you do? Okay. So, like, Drake May, Patriots quarterback, I like him as a buy, not because I think he's a good player, but because I think the Patriots are going to pick up weapons in the offseason. They have to. They have no receivers. I also
Right,
like
that makes sense.
I
I
also like
agree.
Bryce Young. I like Bryce Young the most out of everybody. His cards are just a year older for the same reason. The Panthers, they have to pick up. They have nobody. They suck, right? They have to pick up people. And if they trade for T. Higgins or somebody, you'll see his value go up. So
Right.
that's what I'm asking myself. And me personally, right? This is an opinion here. Drake May, Bryce Young. I like Stroud, even though his cards are a year older. I like Penix. Penix already has weapons, but just nobody's really talking about him. I like to buy the guys that no one's really on right now. So, like, ask yourself who is going to get hot in the offseason, aka who is going to have excitement built around them because people think their team's going to be way better than it was last year. And then
Right.
you're just buying these cards, and let's say it takes 2 months to get them back from PSA. You're just selling them whenever you
Right.
get them back, whether they're worth
Right.
whether they're worth the same. But there's actually 2 bumps. So if you start buying cards now, right, it's February 24th, you should see a nice bump April. It'll level off ish, maybe go down a little bit, level off in May and June. Then you'll see another one in July and August. So, like, if you buy heavy in February, March, you sell in April, May, it should level off in June-ish. And then you'll see another bump around the National Card Show, which is at the end of July, early August. There's actually kind of 2 bumps with a lot of players. Um, in general with the NFL cards. But to answer your question, like, who cares? Just keep buying and keep selling as soon as you get them back, and you'll make 3 to 4K a month. But you just want to put your money in the
Perfect.
best possible position, right? Like you've heard me say a million times. If you're
Oh
gonna,
yeah,
buy a
absolutely. I love
card,
your videos.
exactly. So, um, does that answer your question?
Yeah, and that spawns another one real
Yeah,
quickly.
go for it.
I'm from Seattle, so I was a big Panics fan. So what are the good Panics? What's the brands to look for like Michael Panics? You said
Uh,
Optic and
yeah,
Prism.
optic. So if I'm in your shoes, what's your buying budget for sports cards?
It's not unlimited, but I don't mind having like 2,000-3,000 out at a time, and I have more aside if I need to dip into
Okay,
it.
okay, so you got some money. Okay,
Yeah, that's some money.
gotcha. So if I'm in your shoes, I'm looking to buy cards $100 plus. A mix of yeah, Optic and Prism is the way I would go, and also I might look at Mosaic. But once again, with Prism,
Yeah,
because Prism's harder to grade, I would only
right.
expect like 40 to 50% to get a 10 if you follow what I say in the program. But when one gets a 10,
Yep.
you're like quadrupling your money, so it's give and take, right? Um,
Right.
but I could tell you just like a fact, the most money people have been making in the program has been on Optic football for the past few months.
All right. Cool.
So take that how you want. They're just easier to make money on. So Optic, I'd go first. Prism after that. Mosaic after that. Appendix, and just always follow the whole 2x rule thing, right? You want to make sure you're at least doubling your money.
Excellent. Perfect. That's all I
Cool.
needed.
And what was your name? I'll look out for you in the program. Patrick
Patrick Bartels.
Bartels. Got it. Okay, cool.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Well,
All
Patrick,
right.
any other questions next week or whenever? Or,
No,
just hit me
you've
up.
been great, Eric. Give yourself a raise.
I'll try. Thank you.
All right, buddy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Man, give myself a raise. I like that. Maybe I'll talk to my CFO about it. But the cliffhanger I've been leaving you guys on the whole podcast. Maybe we can get back to it. All right. Sam Howell, his cards. He was traded from the Commanders to the Seahawks last year. And you could see when he was traded right here, right? You could see his cards, look how much his cards were worth. Like during last season, he wasn't playing that well. They went down, 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 down. Boom. He got traded and his card was worth like 50, $60. And my students and I were buying these cards at this point in the offseason, thinking to ourselves, well, it already sells for $60. It's already low. So, like, What's the worst thing that could happen? We sell him in August and he's still a backup? Okay, well, his value will probably stay around the same. Or what if he creates hype and excitement in training camp? What if people think, he could overthrow Geno Smith? And obviously he didn't. But right around here, this time, when this card was like 130, 125, there was rumors. I think Geno Smith either got injured in training camp or Sam Howell had a few good, like literally just a few good days of training camp. Boom, his value doubled, right? And look how much money. This is a lot of money, right? You could buy it for $60 here and sell it for 130. Not promising you're gonna double your money. It's probably not gonna happen. But if just anything happens to these volatile guys like Sam Howell, someone who's unproven and he's volatile, you're gonna see his value skyrocket, right? It's just how it goes. So going back to my boy Jordan Travis, the Jets backup, same thing. Like, will his value go up? Probably not. But if it does, it's going to skyrocket. So hopefully that makes sense. Wow, it's been over an hour. Holy crap. And there's a lot of questions in the chat. But I'm always going to be honest with you guys, I'm always going to favor the people that call in because it's much more entertaining than answering the questions in the chat. But with that said, I do have to wrap this up because unfortunately I have like 40 employees and I have a million meetings every single day. My life is absolutely insane. So I don't get to do this stuff as much as I would like. But any other questions, we send out an email. So if you click the link on my Instagram or somewhere on my YouTube and you just give us your information, you'll get an email every reminding you guys that the podcast is happening the day before. And then like 15 minutes before with the phone number to call in. But try to call in. I do these podcasts because they're entertaining to other people, and there's much more entertainment in me talking to people rather than me answering questions in a chat, and also for my own sanity instead of me just talking to a lens, because I know it's probably hard for you guys to imagine because it looks like so much fun, right, with the mic and all the crazy stuff going on. It's really just me talking to a lens. So give me some reason to just get a little bit more energy, even though I already have a lot of energy. Also, with that said, this is random. This is random too, but I'll leave you guys off on this. Is there another caller? All right, we'll take. Oh man, I have meetings all day. Take one more. Rip it. We'll take one more caller. One more caller. You got Eric here?
Hey, Eric, what's going on? It's Mario in Chicago.
What's up? You said Mario?
Yes, sir. That's my name.
What's up, Mario? How may I assist you today?
I caught you right in time, and I appreciate you sharing your contact.
Yeah.
I thought I'd give you a call. I want to say thank you for putting out so much content. I actually just got back into collecting sports cards, and I want to just share a little bit of experience. So if anybody's hearing, maybe they
it's 50.
learn from my do's and don'ts.
Go for it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And you can maybe even help me out here.
Yeah, for sure.
So I have a lot of wax for hockey from December to now. I've been collecting everything under the sun as far as sports, and not opening it.
Mhm.
I kind of lost out of going and buying Mosaic football. I was already kind of in the hole at that time with Absolute Football and what's the other one? Absolute Football, Rookies and Stars. So I have a lot of good rookies and inserts that I'm putting away. I started opening my favorite sport, football. I do have some baseball. I haven't opened hockey. I'm kind of timid to open what I don't know, but I really want to start collecting rookie cards again and inserts. Do you have any kind of, direction which way I should go? I mean, I know I have an idea that I want to hold most of my football cards that I'm opening. So I just don't know where I should even start.
Whenever someone asks me a question, more times than not, I'm always going to say, what is, like, everyone throws these words around here, like collecting, investing, flipping. Like, what is your goal? Is your goal just to have fun? Is your goal to actually make a side income? Is your goal to quit your job? What is your actual goal?
My actual goal is for really just to kind of break even. I'm not really trying to go big rich off my, my hobby here. I spend quite a bit amount, so just breaking even would be nice, and collecting and still in the same on the side. I'd consider that a hustle for myself.
And then when you use the word collecting, do you mean you like want to? So like, do you want to PC your favorite players?
Right, like rookie cards from tight end or any position in sports. I'm huge on rookie cards since I was like a little kid. And, with this football class coming out, I just kind of caved in.
So like my brain, if you've watched my content, like my brain, like I don't do sports cards like other people. Like my brain is wired to help you make money. And like what I would say is use sports cards to make money, take the profits, put it into your PC or the things you actually want to buy. So if I was in your shoes, what I would do is like the easiest. Let's see. It's a hard question for me to answer because I just need to give you advice on how to make money. Like you can't
Sure
just
thing. I got you.
like buying sports cards to break even isn't a thing. You're either just looking at PC your favorite players and open up cases and boxes, which you're going to lose money. Like if you're opening up boxes and cases and wax, I could guarantee you're going to lose money in the long run. It's just gambling, just like going to the casino, or just piecing your favorite players and buying your favorite young players of like Caleb Williams or whoever. Um, that's also a losing
Right.
strategy because most young players just go down in value with time. It's just how it goes. Like you're probably gonna lose money.
Yeah.
So there is no
I've
like,
been watching football. I don't mean to
no,
interrupt
you're
you.
good.
I I grew up watching football maybe like 2004. So just kind of having a knowledge base of the past rookies and maybe even looking for those rookie cards also.
Yeah,
Today's modern rookies,
yeah.
with the whole licensing switch and stuff.
Yeah. So my advice to you, there is no break even. There's a losing or making. And my advice to you is
God,
make so you could take those profits and buy whatever the hell you want. So
I need to hear that.
yeah. So like there is no, I wish there was some magical thing where you could just have some fun and break even. If you're looking to have fun, you're gonna lose money. That's how I'm telling you, that's just how it's gonna go. So what I would do, the easiest, simplest strategy to make money with sports cards, at least in my opinion, it's what's your budget for buying cards? It sounds like you have a little bit of money.
Yeah, right now I'm putting maybe on buying cards every week. I'm sniping on eBay, maybe 100 or 300 every couple days.
Okay. Okay, so you have some money. So like honestly, I would there's if you're looking to just make some simple, I hate to use this word, passive income, I'd be buying cards already graded of NF like for right now, like NFL guys that are really cheap, like that nobody's buying. So like CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, guys that are gonna start that are just in the gutter right now. And just buy their graded cards of like Prism Color, Optic, and just hold them. And you should be able to make like 20, 30%, hopefully, if you hold them for a few months and take the profits and buy whatever you want with it. That's the least intense, most passive way. You have some extra cash to do it. So buying cards already graded, then you do the same thing with like basketball when they're really cheap in the offseason. You just buy, name brand guys that are young that are probably going to increase leading up to the season. You just sell the cards leading up to the season, take the profits and go buy wax and boxes and PC whoever you want. That's what I would
Gotcha.
do. That's like the simplest
Have
way
you
to make money.
also, yeah, simple is good. It takes a little bit of energy, kind of filtering names on different engines, kind of like X, Twitter.
Yep.
Um, when it comes to the opposite side of the ball with quarterbacks or like other sports, I kind of have a better experience looking for those cards in other places besides eBay. Um, do you have any other suggestions besides X, Twitter, or eBay to
Or
maybe find some cards?
what sports card shows? You live in the best city in the country for sports card
Yeah,
shows.
I, I do, and I've missed two in the past 2 weeks. And I've been buying more on X. I know, I get it. It's just on the opposite side of the ball. It was kind of a two-part question. What's your favorite position besides quarterbacks right now and kickers? What
Favorite
on defense?
position to buy and thinking it's going to increase in value?
Mm, yeah,
Yeah,
for defense.
quarterback. I only buy quarterbacks really, but after quarterbacks, the next best position would be receivers.
Okay, but for the opposite side of the ball,
Oh, the opposite
not
side
too
of
much.
dude, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
I've never bought a defensive player in my life.
Okay,
I'm not the right person to ask for that one.
got it. Yeah, I'm just so big on football, and this new
Yeah,
licensing deal. It's
yeah,
kind of got me going. So I appreciate you taking this call, man. All love. I appreciate your efforts.
yeah, dude. Yeah, if you're in, I'll probably be at the Chicago Sports Spectacular show. I think it's in a few weeks. It's in Rosemont, and if you're there, dude, say
Nice.
say hi. You'll see me in a probably shirt just like this, Carolina blue, with some cameras following me around. I'll walk around with you for 5-10 minutes and point out what I think would be best for you based on what you're looking to do.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate your time. You have a blessed day.
All right, Mario. You too. Bye bye.
Peace.
All right. I can't take any more callers. I can't. I have to continue on with my day. But where was I? Where was I, Kavi? What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying before this. But I was saying something good. What was I saying before I was about to log off here? Um, ah, yeah, forgot. You don't remember what I was saying, Coffee? I was so excited to say something. I was just so excited to say something. And it was something about my personal. Oh yeah, yeah. Now I remember. Oh yeah, yeah. So I have a lot of energy, and so I reckon this is an interesting thing to do. I recommend that guys do this. So, Kavi, who runs all of our marketing, and you'll never see his face, who's next to me right now. Him and I went to get our testosterone tested on Friday out of curiosity. I knew mine was going to be high because it's like 50% genetics and 50% like what you do on a daily basis. And like, I'm in a high sales driven environment and I work out a lot, etc. And my testosterone was an 803, which is top 5%, which I thought it's just interesting. But what I've heard, I'm not a medical professional by any means, and what I'm about to say, I would take with a grain of salt, and I would not take it seriously. But if you're a guy and you feel like you're losing energy, it could be because you don't have as testosterone as you once does. And I know a lot of I'm not saying to do this. I'm not saying this is right, but I know a lot of entrepreneurs in my world do take not like steroids, but just a little bit extra testosterone to get them up to where they used to be when they were like in their 20s, and their energy levels are just back. I've never had the problem because thank God I have a lot of energy, and I guess my testosterone levels are very high. But interesting, yeah. And then in other personal news, so 10 years, Kavi, 10 years I've been single, and I have a girlfriend now, which is bizarre. It's this girl, we actually matched on Hinge. If you don't know what Hinge is, you older gentlemen, it's like think about it like Tinder, dating app, just not really less for hookups. We were friends for like 6 months. Long story short, one thing led to another. Got a girlfriend, and man, it's weird. It's weird because what's interesting about having a girlfriend and like dating is so I explained this to her, like my belief when it comes to like dating and like being in a relationship. And like honestly, like I know nothing about relationships. I've read books on it and stuff because I like to study before I like do things and get into things. But I've spent my whole 20s, and this is gonna sound bad, but selfish, just focused on myself. Like just building this empire, making more money, building this business, learning skills. And now there's somebody who I have to like, I hope she's not listening to this right now, but there's someone that I have to cater for, which I'm happy to. She's an incredible person in every type of way. And it's interesting to now like think about that. But then at the same time, y- I think one of the downfalls of relationships, just like from what I've seen from my own view, is people stop focusing on themselves. I think the best thing you could ever do in a relationship is actually focus on yourself because then it makes the relationship stronger. I think, sacrificing this and that and this and that for your partner, you always have to compromise and sacrifice, but doing it over and over again and more, you eventually build resentment for that person because, let's say your partner didn't like you traveling for work and you had to get a different job, and 5 years down the line you're still with that partner, and maybe you would have been higher up in that other company, and like you build resentment towards that person, right? So what's interesting is like now that I have a girlfriend, I hang out with her, cater for her for sure, but at the same time I'm almost even more motivated to like build this whole sports card side income empire, because the long-term vision of this whole thing is to like become like collectible or side income university, which is fascinating. Um, Ryan, side note, Ryan, what's the best way to follow you and digest your content? Probably YouTube. Like all this stuff goes up on YouTube. Um, yeah, it's fascinating. And then like what's crazy is like we've been dating for like 2 or 3 days, and then there was some drama yesterday because we were supposed to go for dinner, and I messed up plans basically because we were viewing houses actually, or houses and offices to because we've grown this team. We have people moving here to Tampa, Florida. And our plan is to build an office or buy an office and have our own thing. Because honestly, I'm pretty loud, and the whole company is pretty loud because it's all salespeople and everyone's young. But our plan is to buy an office, and we found this office that I'm not. I almost want to share my screen and show you guys, but I'm not gonna because I don't want anyone to buy it or view it or anything like that. But it's like this compound. It's like 2 floors. It's got this rooftop. It's got this whole outside area. It's in this like gentrified part of Tampa where it's like interesting. It kind of looks a little hood, but at the same time, there's like nice houses. So it's kind of like a mix. It's like growing. And I'm super, super excited for that. I have this vision. I have this crazy vision for my company. Almost like I want to build major league profits on the employee side of things into this just almost like army or like cult. I know that sounds bad because the word cult has a negative connotation with it. I want to build this thing into like a cult and where like people come to this office and then we're going to build like a pickleball court, basketball court, grill, you're going to bust your ass and work hard, but you're going to have, ping pong table and there's going to be a shower there and a gym and just so much fun. At the same time, you're working hard and you're making money, of course. And like everyone's going to be required to wear exactly what I'm wearing right now, like either a polo or this sweatshirt, something Carolina blue, just like this. And I just like have this vision of all these young guys in their 20s and us just like going out to a bar or restaurant and everyone's like dressed the same and just I'm like, this is my army. These are my people. That's like that's my fucked up vision. Not fucked up vision, but just that's my vision for the company. I want to just build this crazy, amazing culture. Because I have a lot of flaws. One gift I do have is building culture. I've always been very good at, honestly, making friends. And this is going to sound funny to say, but getting other men to like me. They've always gravitated towards me a little bit. That's a blessing I've had. Females, not so much so. That's why I had to work on that. But men, I've always been good at getting people to gravitate towards me and building some sort of fun culture. Because at the end of the day, I realize, I love to make money more than anyone. I'm just as greedy as the next person. But, building a place where people want to actually go because your job is you go there for 8 hours a day, man. That's a third of your life. And I respect other people are spending 8 hours of their life, a third of their life to work for me. And sure, they're doing it because I'm paying them. They can pay the bills. But why not make it as fun as possible? Why not have pickleball courts and a chef cooking there, even if it costs a little bit more money on my end? Much better experience for everyone. And also selfishly, we're going to be able to attract more talent, which will actually make more money. So I actually think that just generally speaking in business and how you treat your employees, the better you are to people, the more money you actually make. Maybe not in the short term, but in the long term, for sure. But that's what's happening in my personal life. Thought I'd get it off my chest. Any questions, let me know. We do these things Monday at 10 a.m. We got off to just a little bit of a late start. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.